Hi, I'm Deanna Maria Riva, and I am a proud graduate of St. Ursula Academy, known then back in the day as Deanna Maria Uhlenbrock. I'm thrilled to be here with you, young women, smart, beautiful, strong, fierce young women of St. Ursula, and celebrate this amazing month of Hispanic Heritage Month and the 100th celebration of the 19th Amendment. And I'm happy to share a little bit of my experience and strength and hope of what I have been through as far as being a graduate of St. Ursula, going out into the world and trying to live into those themes that our beautiful school has focused on, which is thinker, leader, prophet, nurture. I think that it's important that we try to acquire those in our lives, and they may manifest in different ways, but for my life, it was about how to use those tools, those ways of thinking in a career of entertainment, because I am an actor and I work in Los Angeles in television and film, and have been doing so for 25 years, and it's been a blessing and a gift, and challenging and hard. Growing up in Cincinnati, I think the first element of being a thinker started very young for me. I noticed in my neighborhood that I was one of the only ones that kind of looked like this. I was the only one that was bilingual, speaking 2 languages in the home. I was the only one who was going away to a foreign country, spending whole summers with family that lived in another country during the summer. And all of that I thought was normal, and it is normal, but it just wasn't the typical that I would find amongst my friends and community at that time in Cincinnati. So I kind of felt like I didn't fit in. When I was growing up and kind of developing into what my loves and my passions were, deciding to pursue a career in acting was very different for a kid growing up around there as well. The arts weren't as developed as they are now. St. Ursula didn't have a theater department or a performing department as much as they do now, the brilliant department that you have now. So I really had to think and strategize from the beginning, how was I going to live this dream and better my chances and odds of being successful and fulfilled in it, because it is about fulfillment. So I immediately started with the first and foremost, as my parents said, you have to get your education, and I did, and you had to get your training, which I did. I'm a graduate of the College Conservatory of Music at the University of Cincinnati in the theater department, and those were years of training, mixed with the discipline that I got at St. Ursula, which was really something that has proven to be a useful tool in an industry like this. When I was asked to come to Los Angeles, I had to really strategize and think about how I was going to survive out here. I knew no one, no family, no friends. I was throwing myself in a huge pool into an industry that I knew nothing about. My training was all in the theater, not in television and film, which was a completely different beast. So I immediately had to strategize and surround myself with people who knew more than I did, that I could trust and could lead me and guide me. And fortunately for me, I did. I was surrounded by a group of people, strong, smart, wise people, ethical, good people who believed in me, believed in my talent, and nurtured and guided me to getting where I wanted to be and making the connections that I needed to in this incredibly scary town. So that was my first real chapter of thinking and strategizing as a young woman, as a young Latina woman in this world, in this industry, where it's easy to drown and lose sight of oneself. I had to come out here with a clear strategy to finding those who could educate, guide, and nurture me, that I could trust, and better my outcome of survival, not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually. And that worked. As you might know, it's a very competitive town. So as far as getting somewhere here, you really have to be at the forefront of the line. You really have to lead. You have to lead yourself. And as one of the themes as well here at St. Ursula, being a leader, it really has taken an entire journey. I continue to have to tap into my leadership of what I want and the experience that I want to have and how that plays into my life. This is a town of rejection. It's a town of negative. It's a town of a lot of beautiful, stunning, breathtaking art, and it's a town of broken dreams. So I definitely have had to lead and campaign for myself, because if you don't, no one else will. I can surround myself by those who believe in me, and as I mentioned before, they do, but at the end of the day, it's about me tapping into my self-worth and what I feel that I'm worthy of. So I continue to lead myself down my own path of what I want to achieve, what do I want to acquire, what do I want to fulfill, and hold myself completely accountable and responsible for the things that I get to experience. And if I haven't, then what do I need to do to lead myself down those roads of achieving or getting those experiences? And that's a necessity too here, because you can end up being in a world like the entertainment industry, you can end up being very stagnant. And I know this. We only have one life to live. This is a business that can keep me living in a state of perpetual hold or on call. So I know that I have to dive in with passion and leadership in pursuing all things that fulfill me, not just this business, but family, friendships, exploration, traveling, fun, all of it, to have a full, fulfilled, complete life. And that doesn't happen when you're sedentary. The theme of nurture, I think, is the key to how we walk through life as individuals, as women, as Latinas, as whole souls. What I've learned a little bit later in life, and what I would give away freely if I could to all of you, is the sooner you connect with your self-worth and self-love, the easier and more gratifying life becomes. Because what I notice is that when I am in a place of low self-worth, low self-esteem, low self-love, is when I make the decisions in life that are most hurtful or inappropriate for me. Sometimes things just happen in life, and it's just the experience that we have to go through. But I have noticed that a good portion of life is how I react to it and how I respond to it. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying I walk through it and say, you know what, I have high self-esteem, so that's not going to bother me. It's just how I care and nurture myself in those moments, in those lives. Is this really what's best for me? Is this really what's most fulfilling for me? And if it wasn't, have I given it what I can and now deciding to let it go when I realize it's costing me more than I deserve to pay? Those are the things that I think are a key general point in life to have. And I feel that even more important in my career, it's important to have. I can be told I'm not going to get the part because I wasn't old enough. I wasn't young enough. I wasn't skinny enough. I wasn't pretty enough. And I've been told all of it. And every single time I have been told that I'm not one of those things, I look at it the same way. Oh, they're not talking to me. I'm not pretty enough. I don't know who they're talking about, but they're not talking about me. They have a vision of something, and it's not me. They're not talking to me. I'm not skinny enough. They're not talking to me. I mean, clearly they're not talking to me because they have a vision of what they think is skinny enough, and that's not about me. So they're not talking to me. You know, the whole thing. They don't want somebody ethnic. They're not talking about me. Of course not. They have a vision of who they visualize in this role, and it's not me, so they're not talking about me. And that way I take nothing personally, because the more I allow those kinds of summaries or judgments or opinions label me, then it's their voices in my head and my heart and not mine. So I have definitely built over time something that started at St. Ursula, the confidence and belief that I am enough to carry me through out here, getting through my daily life as a woman, as a mother, as a girlfriend, as a daughter, and as an actress. I'm totally enough. They just didn't see that in this role. They saw something else that has clearly nothing to do with me. And that to me is at the core of nurturing who I am and how I want to feel in my life and how I deserve to feel in my life. And the sooner you can connect with that part of you, that piece of you, life will definitely be an easier road. Not without challenge, not without pain, not without sadness, but with far more joy and euphoria. When I think of the theme of prophet, I think of the one who gives back. How do I give back to that place, to those people? And I do feel with all my heart that St. Ursula was an environment where we were nurtured and led to believe and think in the way of a prophet, in a way of giving back the best of ourselves. And we give what we can when we can. It's not measuring up to anybody else's standards. It's just when we give genuinely, that is when we are at our best self and our most giving. I feel like it's very important to come back and take advantage of wonderful moments like this, coming to you and being able to talk to you about how this has affected my life and my my journey and my career. So that if there's anything that you hear that you can resonate with, maybe you'll take it as a little nugget and put it in your back pocket and live with it. I also go back to things like my alma mater, like the CCM and the theater department. When the acting department comes out here every year for their showcase, I mentor. And those students that are out here that end up moving up here, I connect with them. I know how scary it is to be in this town. And I came out in this town when I didn't know anyone. At least now, the graduates that have come here have a group of alumni. And I always tell them, give them my number, I give them my social media connection, and I'll say, stay in touch. I may not be able to answer all your questions, but if I don't, I'll find someone who can answer your question. And at least, at minimum, you know there's somebody here in your corner. You're not alone in a town that can feel desperately lonely. And it is important for me to give that back because the people that I met when I first came out here did that for me. They looked out for me. They made me feel safe. They gave me a safe place to live and be nurtured. And when big things started happening, they were protective of me. So if I can give some of that back to those who come out here, then I feel that it will be a very fulfilling circle in life that I'm proud to be a part of. All of these themes, these 4 themes, are things that are still a daily journey for me. I'm not perfect at them. I don't do it flawlessly, but it is the bar that's set for me in my life. And it was something that started when I was young. It was something that was nurtured at St. Ursula. It was something that was propelled at the University of Cincinnati. And it's something that's active in me now. It's just not perfect, but it is something that I want. And so I come to you here at the end of this and say that this is a desired way of living. It's not living up to, it's just the active state of being. And it is your version, nobody else's, and it's not up for anyone's interpretation. It's you being comfortable in your skin as a woman, as a Latina, as an empowered soul, no matter what your background is, knowing that we are here for each other. I do my best to make it feel that if you cross my path someday, you will be met with my love and my acceptance of where you are in that moment, because I'm no different. If I cross your path, I will need the same from you. There are plenty of inequalities, injustices, heartbreaks in this world, but I know if I do my best to try to live in this state of being a thinker, a leader, a nurturer, and a prophet, I will have lived my best life. So to all of you, I say, thank you so much. Thank you for having me. And please remember, you are enough all the time, no matter what. Adelante.